Item 4, acceptance of office by the Mayor. You want me to stand? Have been elected to the office of Mayor of the London Borough of Hillingdon. I declare that I take this office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfill the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Members of the Council, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to announce that concludes the appointment of Councillor Colleen Sullivan to the position of Mayor of the London Borough of Hillingdon for the forthcoming municipal year.
Item 5, appointment of Deputy Mayor. I have to inform you that I have appointed Councillor Philip Cawthorne as Deputy Mayor for the ensuing municipal year. Item 6, new Mayor's announcements. Thank you very much. May I take this opportunity to thank my colleagues, Councillor Wayne Bridges, for proposing me, and to my seconder, Councillor Susan O'Brien. Thank you to the Leader of the Council, Councillor Ian Edwards, and all members for your support and for your wonderful speeches. And thank you to everyone here in the Chamber of accepting my appointment. My thanks also to you, Lloyd, and the mayoral team, Nikki, Cheryl, Anne, Andy and Chris, for all their help and support in preparing me for this wonderful occasion. Thank you too to Councillor Sharia Ahmad-Wallana for a great mayoral year and for everything you have achieved during your time as Mayor. And thank you, Sharia, for your friendship and support during my time as Deputy Mayor. Thank you also to my family and friends for joining me on this prestigious occasion. I will not be taking on this role alone, but will be supported by my friend Anne Robinson, who will be my mayoress during this mayoral year. It is truly humbling to serve the London Borough of Hillingdon for 24-25. To be elected mayor is indeed an honour, a privilege and a feeling of great pride to be the first citizen of the borough. I'm looking forward to a busy and exciting year ahead, full of wonderful, vibrant events. My aim during my mayoral year is to work with young people through schools, colleges, youth organisations, and with volunteers, community groups, and to form new friendships, partnerships, and highlight the fascinating history of this great borough and how we can all play a part in its past and its future. My chosen charities are Radio Hillingdon and the Royal Brompton and Harefield Hospital Arts Charity Hillingdon. I am passionate about music and the arts, helping cancer sufferers, supporting young people, all charities which are very close to my heart. Both charities are interlinked by music and the arts. Radio Hillingdon shares music with listeners via the airways, and the Royal Brompton and Harefield Arts Charity Hillingdon helps young people with breathing difficulties through music and the arts, and where words fail, music speaks. Music is probably the one real magic I've encountered in my life. There's not some trick involved with it. It's pure and it's real. It moves, it heals, it communicates and does all these incredible things. I have decided not to appoint a single chaplain for my mayoral year and will be seeking support from faith leaders from surrounding churches across the borough. Finally, I would like to finish with a quote from Oscar Wilde, who said, "Be yourself, everyone else is already taken, And that's what I intend to do. Thank you. Item 8. Sorry. Vote of thanks. I've done that. Oh. Right, sorry. Vote of thanks to the outgoing Mayor, Councillor Edwards. Sorry.
Madam Mayor, thank you very much and congratulations on your election to the Mayor. Madam Mayor, I move a vote of thanks to our retiring Mayor, Councillor Ahmad-wallana. And unusually, with your permission, I would like to address Councillor Shariah ahmad-wallana directly, if I may. Shariah, thank you for your kind words in your final address to the Council. For me, they meant a great deal. It has been an enormous achievement for you and a great honour to have been elected Mayor of Hillingdon, and I imagine it must have been acutely so for you, having only been a citizen of this country for the last 15 years. I was surprised at how moved I was when you became Mayor, having been thrown together by politics some 10 years ago in Uxbridge, when we relied upon each other, trusted each other to secure our win in Uxbridge. Little did we know, each of us, the doors that would then open for us, and I'm indebted to you for that win. A friendship and bond was created, and I have been particularly pleased, in fact, particularly proud to have had you as our Mayor, my Mayor, and our representative of the Borough. You made it your mission to reach out to all of Hillingdon's communities, and most powerfully brought them together at St Margaret's Church, Uxbridge, last month, when 15 leaders from the Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist communities signed a charter together with the Council, pledging commitment to work together for the betterment of our residents. Through your mayoralty, stronger connections have been made with our Muslim communities. You have introduced me to a number of community and faith leaders, opening new channels of dialogue, both for them and for me. It was refreshing to learn the Quran recital competition earlier this week being held in the council chamber at your invitation. I hazard a guess that there haven't been many such events in this chamber before, but hopefully there will be many more in the future. You told me that your priority for the mayoralty would be to reach out and connect with all communities that make up our wonderfully diverse borough. In this, you have been very, very successful. But you've also been able to raise, I am told, some £15,500 to the Halo Foundation and the Al-Falah Institute, which we, the Council, will be pleased to match. You could not have achieved this great connection with the communities without the support of your mayoresses, your wife, Amtul, and your daughter, Tuba. And I thank you both on behalf of the Council for your support to the Mayor and for the warm reception I've always been given each time I have met you. And I would like to finish by saying to your father in Pakistan, who you assure me will be following us, your son has done you proud. He has done himself proud, he's done his family proud, in the distinguished way in which he has served this borough, the warm manner in which he has discharged his mayoral duties. Councillor Ahmad-wallana, you have distinguished yourself as our Mayor. Please accept our thanks for a job exceedingly well done. Thank you. Yeah.
Councillor Lakbana.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I formally second and would like to thank the outgoing Mayor on behalf of the Labour councillors for the charity work that you have accomplished and for the time that you have spent in all the various wards. On behalf of Pinkwell, I would like to thank Councillor Wallana for the functions that you attended in Pinkwell and my neighbouring ward, Haystown, where the venue was located. The three that come to mind where I shared the same platform as you, the first one being Vaisakhi at the Gurdwara in Hayes, Thank you for your kind words to the congregation there. Thank you. The second that leaves an impression is the meet and greet event, which was held at the Hayes and Harlington Community Centre, which was organised by Mr. Khan. That was very well attended. And last but not least, the afternoon tea at our Pensioners Club. This was appreciated by the organisers, as you had to rearrange your diary to accommodate them. So thank you very much indeed on behalf of all of us. I would also like to take this opportunity, if I may, to extend our heartiest congratulations to you, Madam Mayor, and we all look forward to working with you. Thank you for listening.
Councillor Dennis?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your elevation today. And thank you for allowing me to speak about your predecessor. At times, with your permission, I will be addressing him personally, if that's okay. On Monday, me and Councillor ahmad-wallana spent a traditional British bank holiday together, in the rain at a church fete. But while I spent most of my time enjoying the cake, and there was a lot of very good cake, Sharia spent his time going around, talking to everyone, listening to anything they wanted to say. This was a great example of the open, friendly and positive manner Sharia approached the role of mayor. Every time he came to an event in Eastcote, he spent longer there than was expected and spoke to everybody in the room. Though Sharia held the important position of mayor, he had a great way of making those he spoke to feel that they were the most important people in the conversation, which of course, as we all know, they were. But why I want to speak tonight is to say a personal thank you to how you welcomed my daughter and her brownie group when they came to visit the Mayor's Parlour in the Council Chamber. After the visit, it was great to hear excited reports of how the brownies got to ask you questions about being the Mayor and your explanations of the importance to Hillingdon of the historical artefacts that are kept in the parlour. There was also big thumbs up for the squash and chocolate biscuits, so thank you to the Mayor's team for that. What my daughter enjoyed most was coming into this chamber, sitting in these chairs, using these microphones to have a debate, ably chaired by Sharia. I hope they behaved as well as we do, though. Also, why I want to thank you is that you showed to the girls, in an open, friendly way, what the council and us as councillors do. And I know you did this many times over to many different groups. During your time as mayor, you were always an example of the best of Hillingdon. So before I finish, there is one last thing I need to say. I approve this motion of thanks.
Councillor Chamdell?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations. Councillor Wallana, my brother, fellow councillor, fellow ward councillor indeed, fellow past mayor now. What a year. I mean, Team Wallana, you've done us proud, you really have. Abdul, Tuba, what can we say? I mean, without your support, my brother would not have been achieved half what he achieved. But you deserve a rest, all of you, now, because knowing how much it takes out of you, a year out of your life, you've got the weekend, because on Monday we're doing street surgery. So get ready for that. You absolutely beamed when selling brand Hillingdon to other mayors in London, especially when they visited the Battle of Britain bunker. I'm told from other mayors, he smiles just as good as you do. He talks better. So well done there. Your initiatives, your walks which you mentioned in Eastcote, Uxbridge Road, Hayes Town, something close to my heart, supporting local business. That is the backbone of our borough. That has to be and will be. Your initiative of the interfaith service that the leader mentioned, it shows what a fantastic, diverse borough we live in and how we all group together as one. But your ability to reach out to this diverse community is second to none. You know, you mentioned your speeches in Urdu, Punjabi, Bengali, English as well, was something to be commended. On the other hand, your singing in Punjabi, Urdu, Bengali, and English, you need to work on, definitely. And something we do when we do our streets. So finally, to end, thank you for giving up a year of your life, your family's life, to public service, which I know you absolutely adore and love. And welcome back, and continue your public service with me and Hector in the fantastic borough of Colum Cowley. Thank you.
Councillor Gohill.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to pay my vote of thanks to the outgoing Mayor, my ward colleague, Councillor Ahmad-Wallana. He was a strict but calm Mayor, successfully keeping the order at council meetings, more recently in the face of difficult situations, and of course, was impartial and fair to everyone. He was also an extremely busy Mayor, not just taking part in activities across the borough, for example, opening the upgraded park in St. Peter's Road in our ward, but also representing the borough across the city. During his time as Mayor, he welcomed delegates from across the world, showing them the best our borough has to offer, including the recently viral online sensation that is Rice at Lido, and the wonderfully historic Battle of Bretton Bunker. In fact, an anecdote he shared with me: the Chinese Secretary of State who visited our borough, upon seeing the Hillingdon First card, gleamed at his colleagues and deemed the product a magic card, a true testament to the services that we offer in the London Borough of Hillingdon. Whilst we give our thanks to the outgoing Mayor, we can't forget the role of the Mayoresses, both Amtal and Tuba. Tuba in particular, whilst working full-time, as well as doing a PhD and wedding preparations, gave an incredible amount of time assisting the Mayor, alongside her mother Amtal. On multiple occasions, I was told how well Tuba was spoken and how engaging she was with members of the community. The role of Mayoresses is not an easy one, and it was executed very well. Madam Mayor, I wish you every success in your year as Mayor, and Sharer, I welcome you back as our ward colleague in Colum Cowley. Thank you.
Councillor Hager. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon, Councillor Higgins.
Close. Dear Madam Mayor, thank you and congratulations. I will also be addressing Shearer directly. I hope you don't mind. I do hope to hear some Elvis in the parlour in this coming year. I know you're a big fan. Shearer, you have been a wonderful Mayor. You have shown great passion for the role and kindness and the love and respect to all that you have met. Over the last 6 months, I've had the pleasure of meeting with mayors from different boroughs across the London youth functions. Shearer, you're regarded very highly as a great credit to the London Borough of Hillingdon. The highlight for me was the initiative Walk with the Mayor. Me and Councillor Bridges came down to Hayes to give you support, and you reached out to the local businesses and the Hayes and Hillingdon community, walking in Uxbridge, Hayes Town and Eastcote. It was a huge success and a showcase of the wonderful connections that you have made with the community at large. I've also had the pleasure of seeing you in action many events, churches, boudoirs, temples, mosques and synagogues. You spoke with kindness and understanding for those communities, no matter what size the event, large or small. He attended also the Eastcote Fair, the Park Ash programme, the Civic Centre in the Hindu festivals, and some of the residents were able to see him in action with his fantastic dance moves. I think Fred Astaire would be very impressed. You were brilliant, Mayor, and I wish you all the best for the future. Well done, my good friend. Thank you.
Councillor Lavery.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your election. If I may turn to your predecessor, Shreya, I had the pleasure of accompanying you on your first mayoral visit to the tennis courts in Northwood. And we got one of those rare pictures that we occasionally get with mayors. We have a mayor who was playing tennis, actually, with Councillor Higgins. So there's one for the scrapbook. I think we also got you to play tennis again down in Harmonsworth on another visit. You have always approached this chamber in a firm but fair manner. Wasn't the easiest year for all sorts of reasons, but you kept your calm and you've always been fair, I think, to all sides of this chamber. When you're out, you have that warm, engaging personality. And as others have said tonight, and I've seen it as I've accompanied you on a number of visits, and as some of you know, when we do some of these visits, we can do several in the morning or several in a day. So it may not be the first time that you've been asked to cut the ribbon, open a playground, or engage with residents that day. But you always did it with good humour. You always wanted to talk to everybody, and you always wanted to engage with whoever was there. Not sure how your driving team kept you on time on occasions, but I'm sure there was a way they did it. So congratulations on your year. It was a pleasure being out with you, and I wish you every success for the future.
Councillor Bianco.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your recent elevation. Mr. Immediate Past Mayor, Sharia, just a few words. Firstly, of course, to congratulate you, as everybody else has, on an excellent year. And like many of my colleagues on both sides of the chamber, I've had the privilege of attending events with you. The first of which, that I recall at least, was the visit to the Disability Cycle Hub at Peelheath School, where there's an excellent cycle track, and we were there to welcome groups to the new cycles, the specialist cycles that we had provided. And the Mayor and I found ourselves on a bicycle made for two, and unfortunately somewhere there's a photo to prove it. That was the first event that I recall. The second, of course, was the school travel and road safety event in this very chamber, where a number of our primary schools came forward to receive trophies for their work in that sphere, and they were all very impressed, as was I, on that day and your performance. I suppose the most significant event that I attended with you was much more recently, which was the Hillingdon Interfaith Service, which you organised at St Margaret's Church. It was a great privilege to be there and to take part, and to see really how the multi-faith community that we all enjoy in Hillingdon came together as one to commit to friendly and worthwhile discussion and to sign that declaration. It was an honour for me to be there, and you deserve much congratulations for organising it. On a less serious note, of course, I'm aware that over the last few weeks you've been road testing the new mayoral car, which finally arrived in your year, and I believe also that you have achieved a new record. I'm told that you have brought more visitors into the parlour than any previous mayor. So congratulations on that, particularly for widening access to and seeing a vision of Hillingdon at its best. So thank you for that. You obviously have a well-earned rest ahead of you. Unlike Councillor Shamdale, I was going to suggest you had a week off, but clearly you've only got the weekend, so bad luck. Finally, however, I too would like to add my thanks to your mayoresses for putting up with you. For supporting you over the last year. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Immediate Past Mayor. I wish you all the best.
Are there any other speakers? Is the vote of thanks agreed?
Mayor, we'll just pause now while we present the past mayor's badge and the past mayoress's badges.
Item 8, Councillor Edwards.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I will move, if I may, this in two parts. I will move 8.1 and 8.2 together, and these are merely to note. 8.1 is to note the appointment of my cabinet, which remains unchanged. And 8.2 is to note the result of the by-election and the retention of the political balance of the council, and also to welcome Councillor Kelly Martin to the chamber. I trust they are noted. Item 8.3 is a slightly more contentious issue, as I understand amendments are to be brought. The item 8.3 is to bring change to the council's constitution, and it is being proposed that it is done in four ways. The first part relates to questions and motions for council, and the proposal is that we tighten the restrictions on council questions and motions, so that those restrictions that apply to members of the public may also apply to members when it comes forward to frivolous, defamatory, and offensive questions or motions. It also provides other clarification that will assist our Head of Democratic Services and our Borough Solicitor to make judgment on whether or not a question or motion should be allowed. Paragraph 8, or Section B, relates to the Protocol on Good Member and Officer Relations. This is to adjust the way we do business. We recognise now that as we move on to online reporting of service requests, that the restriction of allowing members to only report a service request within their own borough is no longer relevant, and we are amending it. We asked the Whips Committee to look at these issues, and in particular with regards to the protocol regarding members' inquiries. The Whips meetings met and have arrived at this form of wording, which we now accept and stand by. Section C is speaking rights at council, and this is just to clarify the matter following a procedural issue that arose recently. And at point D, this is to note the appointment of select committees, in fact the removal of one of our select committees, reducing the number by one, which not only will simplify our administration of democracy, but will also reduce its cost to our residents. Those four sections and changes I move as one. Thank you.
Councillor Bianco.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And in line with the the proposed revision, I reserve my right and would like to be consulted to speak at the end, at the conclusion of the debate.
If I could just, Madam Mayor, you can't do that yet because it hasn't been agreed.
Oh, what a shame. Well, I reserve my right nonetheless.
Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Firstly, many congratulations on your appointment. I want to express my serious concerns about merging the Finance and Corporate Services with the Property, Highways and Transport Select Committee. Having served on one of these committees, I have had first-hand experience of the significant workload and time commitment required for an effective and meaningful scrutiny, and I'm sure all my fellow scrutineers will vouch for it. The Department of Levelling Up's guidance for councils on scrutiny emphasizes the importance of maintaining effective scrutiny and oversight mechanisms within local authorities. Are they listening to their own government? Hillingdon Council, by merging these two distinct committees, risks diluting the focus and expertise required for proper scrutiny of critical areas such as finance, corporate services, property management, infrastructure and transport. The guidance rightly warns, poor scrutiny can be indicative of
wider governance, leadership, and service failure. I wonder which or all of the three is taking place here. I sincerely hope a thorough impact assessment was conducted, or maybe not, because 7 members are now expected to take the workload of 14. Overburdening a single committee with a vast array of responsibilities can lead to a lack of attention to detail, undermining the whole purpose of these oversight mechanisms. While I appreciate the Council's effort to streamline operations, the government's guidance clearly states, and I quote, "Efficiency means being able to spend less to achieve the same or greater outputs, or to achieve higher outputs while spending the same amount. Efficiency does not include decisions to reduce costs with the intention to achieve less. We should deliver efficiently and embed productivity into everything we do, but we shouldn't lose sight of outcomes and what we are trying to achieve for public. Have they taken any lead from this? But then again, this shouldn't come as a surprise considering their party's record. I hope those in administration can put their hands on their hearts, look the residents in their eyes, and say that they have done the right thing by them in taking the decision to set up the new committee. Thank you.
Councillor Mathers.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your election this evening. I propose on behalf of the Labour Group 2 slight amendments to the wording within the Council agendas and papers on this item to strengthen our Council constitution. Firstly, we are proposing the removal of the word frivolous for the reasons to reject motions or questions. While we trust Council officers will work with members and residents to ensure the Council business adds value to its operations and policies of the Council, we are concerned that the phrase is too subjective and could lead to political pressure or undervaluing of residents' concerns. We believe that residents would feel extremely ignored if their questions or motions were ruled out as frivolous, whether put by a full Council by a councillor or themselves. Frivolous is simply too subjective. What is deemed frivolous by some may be of fundamental importance to others. For example, litter persistently outside along a street is extremely frustrating to residents, but could seem frivolous in the scheme of the Council's responsibility, as we have so many residential streets to keep clean. Equally, some may feel the desire for a chip shop in a town centre is frivolous, but others it is very important. Our residents' concerns and desires should be at the heart of our decision making, and there are many rules in existence and guidance from democratic services and other officers to make them appropriate for consideration at full Council without needing to be rejected as frivolous. Secondly, our second part we would like the wording changed, is to ensure parity and transparency by inserting the opposition leads as those who will be informed amongst committee chairs on requests of factual information. Councillors have the right to information of the Council's operations and the impacts on its residents. Adding these words will ensure that all parties are informed and strengthens the scrutiny and accountability of the actions of the Council. Why would we as councillors not want to see factual information shared consistently across chairs and leads whose efforts add to improve the Council's work? Why would we reject this pragmatic change? If this amendment for more transparency is rejected by the Council today, we have to ask ourselves, what is the administration trying to hide? I move this amendment.
Councillor Punja.
Thank you. Congratulations, Madam Mayor, and I reserve my right. Thank you. Second.
Are there any other speakers?
If there are no other speakers, Councillor Punja, then it's back to you. Okay, in which case then it's Councillor Edwards as the mover of the original motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. This administration will not be accepting the amendments put forward. With regards to the issue of frivolous, it is pretty clear the meaning of the word. It is well defined, and I have trust and confidence in the head of democratic services, assisted by our borough solicitor, to determine what is frivolous and what isn't. Let me remind you of the meaning of the word. If we were to accept the recommendation being put by the Labour group, we would be saying to the Council, you must accept questions or motions of little weight or importance. You can accept them if they have no sound basis in fact or law. You must accept them if they lack seriousness, and you must accept them if they marked unbecoming levity. They are the meaning of the word frivolous. I have every confidence in the head of Democratic Services and the Borough Solicitor to determine what is frivolous and what isn't. And as regards to the transparency and sharing of data, let me remind everybody again that this was an agreement of the Whips Committee. It is patently obvious that the group opposite cannot agree amongst themselves, and having reached agreement, they are now arguing amongst themselves over that matter. We are quite clear that it is appropriate what we are doing. We will not be accepting that amendment either. Thank you.
Councillor Mathers.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a sensible and pragmatic amendment, and we together, as the Labour group, will be abstaining on this recommendation if the amendment were to fall.
Right. Vote in favour of the amendment. Vote against. Thank you.
So the amendment is lost, Madam Mayor, so we now go back to the original motion and vote on that Councillor Edwards moved originally.
Vote in favour. Vote in favour of the original amendment. Thank you. Agreed. Yeah. Vote against. Well, that's carried then. Item 9, Committee allocations and membership 24-25. Councillor Richard Mills.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the committee allocations and membership for the year as printed on the additional paper circulated to members, and in doing so, note that despite the Labour group complaining about the level of scrutiny required, they have 2 members of their side who they feel are unable to sit on any committee, so the workload can't be too difficult.
Councillor Davis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second that.
Madam Mayor, just for personal clarification, there is no problem at all with our whips or deputy whip, and we would prefer it if the member wouldn't make such suggestions.
Is that agreed? Right. Report, Councillor Bridges.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and my congratulations to you again on your election. Madam Mayor, I'm pleased to present the Select Committee's annual report for 23 to 24. Our committees have remained steadfast in placing scrutiny at the forefront of their work, recognising their role as critical friends and drivers of excellence to fortify Cabinet decision making. The Select Committees have discharged their democratic and statutory responsibilities effectively and responsibly this year, undertaking the independent monitoring, scrutiny and reviewing a range of council services. The Finance and Corporate Services Select Committee examined procurement practices to align them with council priorities and ensure maximum value for residents. Considerations included improved scrutiny of contract extensions, new legislative compliance, budgetary constraints and support for local business and environmental goals. The Children and Family and Education Select Committee concluded a comprehensive view of the Stronger Families Hub, emphasising its pivotal role in delivering early intervention and preventative services. These recommendations aim to enhance awareness and ensure staffing adequacy and improving accessibility for diverse communities. The Health and Social Care Select Committee conducted a thorough review of the Children and Adolescent Mental Health Services referral pathway in Hillingdon, with a focus on enhancing support for young people and families. Recommendations included early intervention strategies, enhanced communication channels and heightened accountability. The Properties, Highways and Transport Select Committee scrutinised the Council's Highways Resurfacing programme, seeking avenues to optimise value and best practice in pavement, footway and roadway resurfacing. Their recommendations spanning materials enhancement, communication improvement and cost-saving measures received Cabinet endorsement. My own committee, the Resident Services Select Committee, finalised its review into the popular allocating scheme for residents, with recommendations adopted by Cabinet to enhance resident communications, clarify responsibilities and ensure awareness for new residents. The committee undertook its statutory scrutiny of the police and Safer Hillingdon partnership and actively reviewed how the council and partners enhanced and look the use of our canal network across the borough. These are just some of the examples that underscore the independence of each committee and their capacity to conduct thorough, in-depth reviews, incorporating insights from residents, external witnesses, members and officers to hold the administration accountable and formulate sound recommendations for the Cabinet. Madam Mayor, it's certainly been an engaging year for overview and scrutiny in Hillingdon. I have only given you some of the highlights tonight, and the annual report itself summarises the sheer breadth of activity this year. In conclusion, I extend my thanks to colleagues and officers for their invaluable contributions and express our gratitude to external witnesses for sharing their expertise. On behalf of all members of our select committees and those who have engaged in our work, I commend this annual report to Council.
Councillor ahmad-wallana.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations. I'm delighted to second this annual report of the Select Committee, especially as I've had the privilege of being a Select Committee Chair over the course of the last year. I'd like to thank Councillor Bridges for his proposal and thank all members who sat on various Select Committees in Hillingdon for their contributions, but more importantly, I'd like to thank the Council officers and the witnesses who've given up their time to help the committees fulfil their important role of scrutiny and oversight in order to assist in the development of Council policy. It is really positive to see the strong impact that our select committees continue to make, and I'd like to provide a few highlights of this fantastic work. The Finance and Corporate Services Select Committee conducted a review into the procurement process to ensure it provides the best value for our residents. The Resident Services Select Committee looked into the allocating system in Hillingdon and is now looking at homelessness and the customer journey. The Properties, Highways and Transport Select Committee looked at the Council's Highways Resurfacing Programme, undertaking a broad assessment of new materials and technologies. The Health and Social Care Select Committee undertook an important review into the CAMS referral pathway. And finally, the Children, Families and Education Select Committee focused on how the Stronger Families Hub is functioning in practice since its launch in August 2021 and is now looking at the prominent topic of persistent absenteeism in schools. Madam Mayor, in addition to the continued monitoring, scrutiny of services and budget review and proposals, I hope this overview highlights the vital role that our select committees play in ensuring that the Council continues to provide high quality, value for money services, putting Hillingdon residents first. Thank you.
Are there any other speakers? If not, is the report noted? Item 11, statement by the Leader of the Council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You have taken office at a time of further change and continued challenge for public service and local authorities. It appears inevitable that the next government, of whatever colour or composition, will not be able to provide the funding required by local authorities to meet the continued inflationary pressures and seemingly relentless growth in demand for services. It has become clear that the mood across the country and in London is not with the Conservative Party, but it is encouraging to me that the by-election result in Hillingdon East indicates that our residents still have trust and confidence in Hillingdon Conservatives. Yeah. We are at the midpoint of this administration, an appropriate time to take stock. 2 years ago, Hillingdon Conservatives secured the backing of residents to lead this council by promising to continue sound financial management and putting residents first. On both, we are delivering. With our council tax, fees and charges levied on Hillingdon households, on average, continuing to be amongst the lowest of all London boroughs and materially less than our neighbouring boroughs. Our residents also comment that our services and facilities are typically better than our neighbouring boroughs as well. We went to the electorate in 2022 with a manifesto of 46 commitments. 42 have already been achieved or will be achieved by the end of this administration. The 4 commitments, where there is doubt, all relate to matters that are not wholly within our control. Our commitment to build a minimum of 400 new affordable homes by 2028 has been hampered by the downturn in the construction industry. and as it is unlikely that we will be able to build all those additional homes in time, we will now purchase the shortfall from the open market. Our intention to establish solar farms on suitable council land is undiminished, and feasibility work has progressed as planned. However, we have come up against the wait time to connect new solar farms to the national grid, which is now measured in years and not months. The building of the new water and outdoor activity centre for use by HOAC has been frustrated by the availability of a suitable site. Planning permission to make use of Broadwater Lake in Harefield was objected to by Natural England, and discussion continues to find a way forward. Although protection of our natural habitat is important to us, so is the development and enrichment of our young people, and I very much hope that a compromise can be found. The final pledge that we are unlikely to achieve is to extend the Santander bike scheme within the borough. The Mayor of London is not willing to countenance such an idea unless the council contributes to the cost. I find this a bit rich when the Mayor urged us to switch to green travel when he expanded ULEZ to Outer London, and he's now taking millions of pounds from Outer London residents through the ULEZ charge. Although we eventually lost in law, I am proud that this administration had the courage to stand up for its residents and lead the consortium of Conservative councils in the judicial review of the Mayor's decision to expand ULEZ to Outer London. The depth of local opposition and perception that ULEZ is unfair and especially punitive to those on low incomes or state pensions continues to echo politically. Hopefully this will cause the Mayor to abandon any thinking about widening the catchment of vehicles subject to the charge, or even to bring in pay per mile that would apply to all vehicles. Although his statements before the election gave cause for hope in this regard, his statements since seem to have emboldened his crusade. With no opposition coming from his own party, it will be left to the Conservative councils to once again speak up for the residents of Outer London. Madam Mayor, the council is more than just this chamber, us politicians. Our success is delivered by our officer team, and what a successful year it has been for them. In the municipal year just concluded, our Youth Justice Service became the 5th local authority in the country, the first in London to be awarded Youth Justice Special Education Needs and Disability Quality Lead status in recognition of its excellence of service. Our Children's Service was graded as outstanding by Ofsted, and their report commented, children in the London Borough of Hillingdon continue to receive highly effective services. Very strong political support and diligent partnerships have enabled the senior leadership team to be an excellent champion for children, families and young people. Our counter-fraud team received 2 national awards from the Chartered Institute for Public Finance and Accountancy, the Outstanding Fraud Prevention, Detection and Recovery Award, and the Grand Prix Award for being the best overall of all award winners. At the end of February, Dame Andrea Levison, the Under Secretary of State for the Department of Health and Social Care, visited Uxbridge Family Hub and was so impressed by the quality and range of services available to families of both young and old children that officers have been invited to showcase their work next month at an event in the House of Parliament. And most recently, on this year's National Offer Day, Hillingdon was the top London local authority for parents being awarded their first choice primary school place. Contrary to what one might believe from comments made in this chamber in the past, officers of this council have been very successful in securing additional grant funding in the last year. Hillingdon was one of 42 councils who were successful in their bid to the Social Housing Decarbonisation Fund with an award of 2.76 million to help improve the energy efficiency of our council housing stock. We secured 6.36 million of grant funding towards the Hayes Regeneration Scheme and housing development and acquisitions, and a total of £44.1 million of grant funding to support our general fund expenditure on zero carbon initiatives, the water sports facilities, school placement expansion improvement, adaptations to homes and equipment for vulnerable residents. The first half of this administration has been far from plain sailing, with the financial pressure on local authorities being unrelenting as the funding has failed to keep up with inflation and the growth in demand for services. The recent bankruptcy of a number of local authorities have shown the cost to residents when that occurs in their area. Hillingdon remains financially sound and is at no risk of bankruptcy, should we have the courage and the will to make the changes to bear down even harder on the costs of running the council. Let me be clear that there is no consideration being given to cutting services. Changing them, yes. Cutting them, no. We have shown that this administration is prepared to take decisions that the opposition would not in order to reduce operating costs. Our strategy of ensuring that all our buildings are used to the optimum is beginning to bear fruit. We have opened our second family hub in the borough and have plans to open a further 4. These hubs bring together a range of family support services that were provided from a number of buildings that will now be released from service requirement. The cost of running those excess buildings will be saved without detriment to the services being provided. Our modernisation of the Civic Centre will not only reduce our carbon footprints and our overheads, but it will also deliver a far better working environment to our staff. It has allowed us to reconfigure our use of space, with the surplus being let to other organisations securing income for the council. We have reached agreement with our NHS partners for a local team to occupy a floor of the Civic Centre, providing an income of more than £250,000 per year. And maybe more importantly, it will bring health and social care service commissions closer together. From this closer working, new opportunities will emerge to prevent or delay the onset of ill health, hospitalisation and residential care. A win for our residents and also for the public purse. Our digital transformation programme has moved forwards quite considerably in the first half of this administration. We now have the expertise within our senior management team to make more rapid progress, and new thinking and new systems are revealing new operating models that are now subject to more detailed consideration and financial modelling. The move to online services is gaining broader acceptance by residents, with the number of My Account holders increasing, along with the number of online transactions. We have further to go with this to provide the very best customer service experience to our residents, but we now have the expertise in-house to deliver the fine-tuning that is necessary. Our direction of travel will continue to be to reduce the number of telephone numbers and email addresses available residents to contact the council. The direct contact between resident and officer can work, but my email box receives far too many complaints from residents about failure to respond to communications. Promises of returning phone calls are unkept. Emails are unanswered. I am insistent that our systems and processes are changed to prevent this and provide managers with real-time oversight and information about casework to prevent our residents from being overlooked. Our priorities for the second half of this administration must include implementing solutions to the ongoing financial pressure on local authorities, the deepening housing and homelessness crisis, and the continued growth in demand for care and support services. With regard to the financial pressures, in February, the Labour-chaired Levelling Up Housing and Communities Committee published the report Financial Distress in Local Authorities, which stated, "The evidence we have heard throughout our inquiry indicates that local authorities across the country are facing a tipping point with a systemic issue of insufficient funding to meet their statutory duties." It concluded, "The government elected after the next UK general election, regardless of their political persuasion, must embark on a fundamental review of the systems of local authority funding, local taxation and delivery of social care services." I doubt that there will be dissension from either side of this chamber to that statement. But we are not waiting for nor relying on government to address the financial pressure that we, as all other authorities, are experiencing. We will ensure that our destiny remains in our own hands. This administration and its predecessor Conservative administrations has a strong record of delivering efficiency savings, having delivered an average of £11 million each year over the last decade. In the first year of this administration, we delivered £14.8 million of saving, and the year just concluded 16.6. But we must now go even further. And over the last few months, we have been carrying out a fundamental review of our service budgets, not only looking at what is being done and at what cost, but also whether we are making best use of digital technologies and systems that we are rolling out. This review has revealed opportunities that we shall pursue this year to reduce and simplify our management structure even further, to better align expenditure to statutory and local political priorities, and also to remove duplication in processes and activities. This will provide savings in addition to the £15.7 million of savings already identified for this year, 24-25, and those published within our medium-term financial forecast for later years. I take no pleasure in reducing posts, recognising that it will result in loss of income for those impacted, their family and their dependents. However, we are committed to putting residents first, and if we are able to deliver the same level of services and facilities at lower cost to our residents so that they can keep more of their hard-earned money, then that is what we must do. My commitment, Hillingdon Conservatives' commitment, is that this council will become smaller, simpler and smarter. Madam Mayor, I have not gone into detail about how we intend to address the housing and homelessness crisis, nor to increase our capacity to provide social care, nor progress our safety valve agreement and tackle the DSG deficit. I fear that were I to do so, I would lose the attention of colleagues and residents that may be following us online. But let me reassure you and residents that we not only have plans, but we are taking action to address these issues now. And I am confident that future council meetings will allow me to provide further information. I would like to conclude by thanking our officers and our senior management team for their dedication and hard work, and particularly to our Chief Executive, who has the responsibility leading the officers of this wonderful but complex organisation through the change programme that we are requiring. My thanks go to all members for all the work that you do in your wards to help make the lives of our residents easier and better. In that objective, we are united. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, just before you close the meeting, I'll just say to our guests here this evening, in a moment the Mayor will close the meeting, and if you would like to make your ways through the doors at the back there, members of my team will be there to show you down to the mayoral reception. Members of the Council, I remind you I need to hang on to you for another 10 minutes or so.
Meeting's closed.